changed the world. So shout out to him. God rest his soul. Um, what I'm sorry, what was the question again? Was it more so on the riots?
Yeah, just more so like what has happened since then. We have the peaceful protest, but unfortunately, we also have the rioting.
Yeah,
Businesses that are already suffering are now suffering even more
yeah,
because of this. People are getting murdered over this. Cops
true,
and rioters and peaceful demonstrators.
true.
So I figured you would have probably you were the best person to talk to on how your feeling is of it.
Yeah, no doubt. Um, First and foremost, I think the riots are a result of so long of black people not being, you know, not having their voices heard or not having change in their system. This we have almost become like numb to this. Like I feel like every 5 to 10 days I turn on my TV and either some black guy has been shot by the police or some guys going to Starbucks and they're arrested for simply using the bathroom. Like it's a never ending cycle. And I finally, when you go about like 60 years of being peaceful and voicing your opinion and still nothing happens, at that point you're like, fuck it, burn the whole place to the ground. So do I agree with the riots? Absolutely not, because I think number one, the wrong people are causing damage. Like if you guys go on Twitter and you literally just look at like the videos of people rioting and the damage happening, no offense, but I'm seeing more white people damage businesses than I'm seeing black people
Oh,
damage businesses.
yeah, that's it. It appears as though that it's people are using this as an opportunity, one,
Right.
to instigate, and
Yeah,
then to just foster this um, hate. You know, I I think there are a lot of people that are willing to, like, let's resolve this and move forward, but then
hmm
there's this element that's fanning the flames rather, of hate, and they're using this as an opportunity to destroy things.
absolutely. But and I look at it as no different as how our president got elected is false information. So, I've talked to a couple older people. Um, uh, and some of the things I've heard are crazy, man. Like they literally look at the news and they're like, "Oh, what the news says is true, so this is what's happening." So I just feel, as you said, Frank, like it's people with the wrong agendas who are breaking things and burning things, and then it's so easy to be like, "Oh, hey, look, those black people are doing it. Those people of
Mm-hmm.
color are burning down their own cities." When we're really not, man. The only thing we ask is to stop being murdered, stop being profiled, stop being every day just being less of a human being than the rest of the race. So as I said, I don't agree with violence and I don't agree with burning down the city. I don't think my people are doing that, but at the same time, the system, you got to scorch the earth before new earth can
Yeah.
grow. So
Well,
I
I've
I,
always, I wanted to
I agree
always,
with it.
I wanted to say this. I feel like that whoever is running our government, everyone gets fired and we start
Mm-hmm.
over. And that is
Yeah,
like that because everyone's wrong on every side. For me, like I have voted for Obama twice. I did vote for Trump. I'm not
mm-hmm.
gonna lie. I'm more Republican than I am. Hate to say, I'm sorry to say that for most people out there.
Are
But
you going to vote for him again
uh,
after him handling
so
this?
here's the thing. I don't want to. I have to choose. I'm waiting for the debates to come out to really make my decision on it.
Okay.
There are decisions that he made that did help my small business, help me
Yeah.
not pay taxes. So
True.
I always look at it as this. If someone has made a change, if the government in any way has made a change that has affected me in a way that has positively influenced me, well, why would I switch sides? So
True.
that's how I felt, and that's the same thing with Obama. I felt strongly for Obama to be president of the United States, and I voted for him.
Yeah.
So, and that's how I felt. But then I had to choose between Hillary Clinton and Obama, and not Obama, but
Yeah, I
Trump. It
understand.
was like the douche and the turd were the two choices for our government. Hey, what are you gonna
Well,
pick?
now we kind of have a rapist and a child molester, so it ain't too much better now. So
So, so first off, I want to. First off, Apple has definitely spoken up regarding everything that they said about this. In fact, on Apple Music, they have a playlist dedicated. If you go to the
big time cap. before you say this. Big time
Okay.
cap by Apple. Big
Okay,
time
yeah.
cap.
Yeah, if you go to the For You section, that is where they had a big screenshot of they were doing Beats One all day, and they just showed this, and I listened to it for like an hour just to get my head around everything that's going on. But Apple has suffered a big loss here too, because there was a lot of stores that were attacked. Obviously, with looting. Obviously, Apple stores are a big target because they have all their stuff out there available for you to just grab and go. Thank God they don't stock their phones and Macs out there, but they stock their equipment
I
out
don't
there.
know. People were walking out with white boxes, so I think they
Yeah.
had some stock in a walnut store.
Well, I guess it depends on if they lock that door. That's
You're right. Let me
so.
stop. It's getting smoky in here.
Yeah. I'm leaving that in. So there was a few stores. We're going to talk about a couple of stores. There's a lot of videos online that talk about some of the stores that were robbed. The biggest one that hit us probably closest is Philadelphia. They got really destroyed. Not only was there like a car burning right in front of the store,
Right in front. Yeah.
they had the entire store was destroyed, and it just looks like a mess. And this is an area that was not going to open up anytime soon regarding Apple because of the COVID. This is just a hot spot in this area, in the tri-state area. But then you have areas like Portland that got destroyed. You have D.C., a lot of D.C. in there. Portland, Oregon. Portland, Oregon got robbed. Scottsdale, Arizona. There's a ton of videos.
It's just opportunists, man. They see the opportunity. And one thing I do say about that, like, prime example, I'm never for stealing. I've always had the mindset of you work hard for what you get. But at the same token, like, people were robbing like sneaker stores, like high end sneaker stores, and getting like $30,000 pair of sneakers.
Yeah.
Like, people are opportunists. So if they see people are looting these stores and the police don't have enough people to take them out, man, I'm I don't play devil's advocate here, man, but if I gotta pay some bills and I could pick up these two Apple phones real quick and feed my children, I'm gonna do the same shit. People need to realize, like, you're a product of your own environment, and you'll do whatever the fuck you have to do to survive. So, that's how I look at those people who stole all that shit.
Craig, what do you guys say about the looting?
Well, I don't understand it. I'm kind of on board with Josh a little bit. That I everything I have, I earned, I paid for. I believe they are opportunists, but I don't think that there's a majority of the people that are out there to get that stuff and sell it. They're there to sell it, but I don't know that they're gonna to feed their family. I think they're just looking for an opportunity
for their gain. You're right. But, yeah, especially the people who messed up. All these mom and pop shops and these these people had nothing to do with it.
Right.
They're not corporations. At that point, you're just an asshole. But I did start seeing, a lot of people start, putting up like, hey, this is black owned, this is Latino owned, this has nothing to do with your rights, so leave it alone. And people were actually, protecting it. So, that's our strongest suit. Like how Apple says, our people are our strongest. It's the same thing for America, man. When we gather together, anything can be accomplished.
And I told people, I was like, well, what if they agree with the riots and they agree on how this was handled and they feel like that's what we deserve for what happened, well, I look at it as, well, what if I went to your business and I did it?
Yeah.
Or if it was someone of the same color that would go to your business and do it.
Owners, though, so it's that ignorance.
Sure,
that
but there are.
Lack of,
There are, I mean, we talk about a guy locally, I think an African-American police officer off duty got killed. Who, so it's like, it doesn't matter. It's almost like it doesn't matter. And that's where your guys' point is, that they were going to do this no matter what or who it is. They didn't care. And then that proves the point that, well, then this is not about what happened to George Floyd. This is just your way to take advantage of a situation and to take advantage of, the cops and the system and the government. And it clearly shows, like, I can't imagine living in other countries right now, watching this and seeing what this country is about now.
Well, it's because the media is making it seem like the protests are the looters. And
right.
I want to be very, clear here that there are people protesting and then there are people who have a completely different agenda who want to, just want to see the world burn. So, I hope the rest of the world doesn't look at us and say, hey, these people are fucking crazy for destroying everything, because there are a lot of peaceful protests going on for that change. So,
Josh, there was a I didn't mean to cut you off, but
no, you're fine.
Just brought to mind, I was out on the web and saw a post from a black gentleman in, I want to say Georgia, who was on his way home, going past the shopping center in his area, and he looked in the parking lot and he said, "What the hell is that pallet of cinder blocks doing there?"
Yeah.
So and it's very interesting. I wish I had kept it so I could have shown it to you. But he pulled in, he called the police. He said, "I don't know why this is here, who put this here. None of the businesses in that shopping center
were doing construction, right?
Sold that kind of stuff."
Right.
So he said, when the cops got there, he says, "I'm putting this on my truck. Here's my name and number. When you guys find out if any of these businesses had this stuff, I'll gladly bring it back." A couple of his buddies came over, and the cops, they put it in his truck and he took it away. And that's the kind of thing that you're talking about, Josh, is that all of a sudden, you're in a street and all of a sudden a pallet of bricks shows up. Like, what? Yeah, right? I mean, how does that happen?
Yeah.
It's too scripted. It's happening too much.
Yeah,
exactly. It's people.
There's too many fishy. There's too much. There's a lot of fishy cops out there. But again, not every cop is bad. There were cops.
Every cop is bad, but what happens when the tree is spoiled?
Right.
That's like how I look at it. So, hold on. Shout out to all my cop friends right now, because I know you guys are feeling crazy and it feel like the world is against you. I just want it to be known that I am not against my police officer friends, but what I am against is the mistreating and of power that especially white police use on a daily basis. So shout out to all those people, those police friends of mine trying to change the world, but you can't. It's too big. It's too big of an issue. It won't change by one person's calling out of other bad police officers. But I don't want to say fuck 12, but fuck 12.
Well, I was going to have a transition out of that, but I really can't. So we were going to talk about the stolen iPhones that were taken, or stolen Mac products. Now, me and Frank have been part of Apple for 10 years. We were a part of it for a long, long time. Now, we were back in the day when Josh may not know this, but back in the day, the only thing that held down the iPhones or anything was just one wire that was glued with like a little bit of glue on there to hold it in place. And of course,
wasn't even super glue.
Yeah, and I used to do them. So part of my job as a visual manager or a visual guy was to basically put all those things on there. And so Apple gave us the guide on paper, by the way, not iPad. I had to do this all with a freaking booklet, and told me how to do it, how to glue it on, and then the sensor on the back, once it's released, it triggers the loudest alarm in the world. So that's what happens. And we've developed since then that now it's able to geofence where it is inside of the store and knows when it leaves the store. So it's gotten to the point now where it used to be just locked, but now it's locked and tracked. So, Frank, do you remember what happens when they leave the store with those phones?
Well, essentially, I guess they're just a brick. They don't. They're non-functioning. You can't erase all content and boot it back up again as if you would your phone. So
I want to read the best tweet that came out with it. This is the one where he actually shows a Walnut Street Apple Store phone taken. I think this is kind of known. It's out there. So he says, and this is quoting from his tweet, "Nah, son, I swear to God, I'd be hated." And he shows a picture. "Please return Apple Walnut Street. This device has been disabled and has been tracked. Local authorities will be alerted." I wonder how many local authorities really went out there and grabbed them, though. I'll be honest. I mean,
I don't think anyone keeps the phone after that.
I really don't. Would you keep the phone, Josh, if you saw that?
Yeah. I think about it.
Yeah.
Well, you might
No,
want
it's
to
fun.
throw it up on eBay and see if you get somebody to bite on it real quick. And
Yeah, real
you know,
quick, and then
Parts.
ship it away from you,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
Yeah.
Because I actually have two stories. When I was in Freehold with those old connectors that you were talking about, Will,
Mm-hmm.
um, there were, I want to say, 5 guys, and the phone table was right up in the front of Freehold. And there were 5 guys that were up there, and I was talking to a couple of them, asking questions about the phones. And I kind of like walked away into another table because we were done. And all of a sudden, all of them just grabbed the phones, pulled them, and ran out.
Yep.
Now, I
Damn.
was naive enough to think that my first reaction was to try to stop them. And in my attempt to do that, one of them tripped and he fell on the floor. And then the one guy grabbed me. He says, "Leave him alone, leave him alone." And one of the other employees. And then when the guy got up and ran, he had dropped his car keys.
Oh.
The store, the store had his car keys, or a set of car keys. Now, of course, they called the police and everything. Now, I really don't know what happened to it, but that was the first time that I had ever been like close to somebody stealing the phone. And I actually, I don't want to say I got in trouble, but I was told very
Yeah.
forcefully, do not attempt to
No.
stop anybody for any
That's right.
reason.
That's right.
Let it go.
Yep.
Which I was a little taken aback by it because
It's not your stuff, Frank, by the way. I just want to let you know that.
well, yeah, I know, but listen, you guys would agree that when you're there, it's like your family.
Right.
Yeah, it's like your house. Someone
Yeah, and
yeah.
so, but I never did after that. So, and then we did have one guy come in at Quaker Ridge, I believe, and said, "Hey, I bought this computer online and I can't get it to run," and it came up with that it was stolen.
Yes,
And
I remember that story.
you remember that?
Yes, I do.
They had the
So
they called
we brought that into the back of the store, and he
Yep.
literally waited there the entire time while we were trying to figure things out. Meanwhile, we're calling the cops.
Yep.
It's because it does get flagged. Joshua, remember this, that there is a flag when we do know that it's stolen. Now, the idea is to keep the guy in the store as long as possible. We're not going to take the equipment back. That we actually are not allowed to do that. So we called the cops, and while he's waiting in the store, he got arrested. When he got arrested, I don't know if you were there. I can't believe you weren't there for that, Josh.
Wait, so on the flip side of that, say if he actually bought it online and it was stolen.
Well, he would not get it back.
No, but
Yeah,
he
but you
no
just
he
got him arrested.
no he was the guy I think that actually stole it. I think there was a guy that actually did. Remember, he brought a stolen Apple Watch in from another Apple store. It was running on one of those loops that run in the store. So he bought it.
Yeah.
He brought it in. He's like, "Why is my phone doing this?" We had to take the watch back from him and not give it back. We didn't charge him for anything because he had proof that he bought it from eBay.
Yeah.
So he's not in trouble for that. But the other
Yeah,
person
but
you're
he's out
talking
that
about,
money.
yeah,
That's true.
he's out the money. Yep, he is. But he's not going to get arrested. That guy got arrested that you're talking about. Josh, you have any stories from any of the stores you worked at?
About theft?
Yes.
Oh, I have some funny ass stories, man. Cause like, I just always had that like I've seen people like pull out weapons and shit. So I just have never like if someone goes to steal, I don't stop them because like I'm not getting stabbed over this job.
Yeah.
Anyway, I would say the funniest one. Remember when we used to have those product zones? Those like holiday product zones?
Yeah.
Yeah, those express lanes. Yeah, someone got me for like 10 iPads, yo. They had this like whole orchestrated like it was actually I actually like clapped and was like, wow, these dudes were very like thorough with their way of how they were going to steal these. But they had like 3 people. One was at the end of the Genius Bar, so I was in the express lane. And I think they like wanted a cable or something like that. They wanted something, but they didn't want to wait like an hour to get it. So I was like, yo, I could like get it done real quick. So anyway, I forget like the details of it, but all I remember is like they had 2 people like get my attention to just simply turn myself to the right, and the other dude came up to me, so I know like they're all three together, but he has a bag and he's just knocking iPads into this bag. So they're like walking out of the store, and I'm like, I'm not gonna chase after them. You know, they got that. I just told management and like kept it moving. But that was like, you know, bravo to them for pulling that off during holiday season.
Wow.
Another one was a guy stole a GN Spar floater.
I remember this.
Yeah, he stole a GN Spar floater. No, I think this was when I was at Cherry Hill, dog.
You sure?
Yeah,
I remember that happening.
At Cherry Hill.
I know that happened at Quaker Bridge.
So he had like an iPod, old ass iPod that did not work, and he just seemed like he was trying to get it work for his kid and shit. So I felt so bad once again during holiday season. So I just got that soft spot in my heart.
Yeah.
So he gets me to go back in the jeans bar like multiple times to try to fix his iPod, and I come back out, and when I come back out to like give it to him, he's gone, and I'm like, what the fuck? And like I look, and this dude is beelining it towards the door. He put it right in like the inside of his jacket and just took off. Like,
you know, it's funny. That's because we had a robbery at our store, and that's when we had to keep. That's when we had to start carrying the computers with us all the time, or leave them in the drawer all the time when you're done. We had to do that. That was so that did happen at Quaker because I remember the change was we would do that. You would leave your computer on the bar. You're around all these other people, so you figure, hey, someone's got to be watching it. No, they'll take it, and they have, and yep. And then, you know, that's what we started changing on how we were going to use those. That after every time you were done with a customer, you had to put it back, even if the next customer needed it. So that started happening with us. So here's the bottom line: don't steal anything out of an Apple store. It's tracked. You know, you could probably sell it for parts. Maybe that's it. Beyond that, that's all you got with it. So you can steal us. You know, if you get away with stuff on the wall, great. You got yourself a case. Congratulations.
Take all that shit.
Yeah.
Take all of it.
So you can go get your cases. You can go get if you want to get that stupid basketball that had the Bluetooth built into it, you can get that thing. You know, there's a lot of stupid toys that Apple sells. Yeah. There was a Bluetooth basketball, and I remember one day we had a competition to see who would sell a weird item in the store. So one of the things we had was a baby scaler that has been sitting there. There's like dust on it, right? So it's that bad. And the goal was
scaler, like a small scaler or
a scale,
babies.
Yeah, scale to weigh babies. That whatever, a scale to weigh babies that would Bluetooth to your phone, all the information. So the winner got like the biggest coffee you could possibly get from Starbucks. I actually was able to find a couple and say, yeah, we need something for our sister's baby shower. I was like, oh, this is the perfect item right here. I'm wiping the dust off of it. Like I did it like behind, but I did it like in a weird way where they didn't see me do it. And I said, gift. I mean, think about it. All the information can be tracked on their phone. They can have it forever. And they bought it. The same, and it was
give them the family and friends discount.
No, dude, I had given them a discount. They were dumb for buying that thing. And then I showed the receipt to Chad, and he bought me the coffee. So, love it.
What's the weirdest item that you other than that scale? What's the other weirdest item you thought that we sold? That was just.
I think the light case is pretty stupid. The one that has like a light that
takes selfies.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
I thought the one that I just like. Okay, I guess it's all right. Is the water glass.
The water glass.
Yeah, it connects to your Bluetooth and says, "Hey, you haven't taken a drink in a while. Drink." I'm like, really? Somebody needs to know when to drink.
Oh my god, that's pretty dumb.
That's crazy. They have apps for that. There's no need to put that into a water.
There's water bottles that just light up and let you know when it has to be drunk. Like there's stuff like that. Do you recall one, Josh? It's like a really stupid product that Apple sold.
I'm trying to think right now.
All right, while you're thinking,
only thing I can think of is the oh, that was a good segue. The only thing I can think of is the jump rope.
Yeah, the jump rope was. I thought that would be kind of cool though. I thought someone who really is into that would like that.
Yeah,
but
look at the price of it, and like,
It's $199 jumper.
grab a piece of rope, man. What do you?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Like the product's fine, but don't buy it. So
The other one that they had was that ball. Remember, you had that ball, and you could play different games with it. You would throw it around, and it would vibrate and stuff like that.
Yes, I remember that ball. Mm-hmm.
Damn, my memory is completely shot of Apple. I think I had just try to forget that chapter in my life.
Dude, we have to
any of these products.
We have 11 years of all that stuff that we have to go through, and that's it's hard to look at products back in the day that we would have said.
You know, the one I still have that my grandsons still want to use are those cars. Remember those cars?
Anki cars, yeah, the Ankis. Mm-hmm.
That was one of the best.
You had to roll out the track for that?
Yes,
yeah.
Yes, yep.
That was the best. That was the best item ever.
Too bad they all got returned when they bought them.
Oh, they broke?
No, they returned them. I literally sold every as a creative. I sold every Anki that we had in the store. They told me 85% of them came back.
Damn. Yeah, because kids' attention spans are not that good.
Well, I think the product was a little ahead of its time, I would say. And then they eventually had a real track. But the cars were simple cars. Like, everything was on the app. And the augmented reality would have definitely worked better than probably the car itself. Yeah. So, but let's talk about... God, go. I'm trying to move on,
I
man.
was just going to say one of the best parts of the creative job was during the holiday season when the creatives got to play with all the toys.
I know. It was fun. Too bad they didn't focus on the main objective, which is teaching people. But, God forbid, we had some kind of system. But let's talk about what happens if your iPhone, iPad, or iPod Touch is stolen. So there is a device on there called Find My. Hopefully no one ever has to use this app, but basically it is your tracking system on your phone that allows you to know where your phone is. You can also add anybody that's in your family in the iCloud family sharing are all part of this, that you can find every device there. Now, my sister ran into a situation where her phone was stolen in the Borgata. And this was back about 6 years ago. And this is just when this was starting. And I literally I said, hey, I need your login. So back then, you couldn't see other people's devices. You had to get the login. So I got the login. I see the phone moving around the Borgata. So you have the ability to lock it with a different passcode. Yep. You have the ability to track it. You
can send a signal. You can send an alarm to it.
Send an alarm to it that makes it go off. And then you could write text on the screen and you could change it as it's going along. So as this guy was holding onto this phone, I kept writing, I see you're on the first floor of Borgata. I see you're right by the steakhouse. Like I'm writing those things because I'm watching the inside of that place. Even though you can't see the inside of the Borgata. The reality is I can't, but I'm guessing it. Eventually it was given over to security and she got her phone back.
Wow.
So that was going to be stolen because it was moving around the way it was because it was turned off too. So it was definitely going to happen. So we want you guys to make sure that you use the Find My device. You can erase your phone also remotely, which is really awesome. I think that's a great feature. You can remove all your credit cards on there. So why would you not turn this feature on? Of course, if the phone's turned off, it'll actually show the last known location. That is the best it could do for that. But with the rumored Apple tags coming out, that's a whole rumor going on. Yeah, Josh's face is kind of like, what? You haven't been kept up on your Apple News, have you, Josh?
Yeah, nah, not at all.
It's like little tile devices that would basically be around everywhere, and the Bluetooth would be able to send a signal, and even other iPhones could send the signal of where the phone is.
Oh, word.
Now, what I'm interested to see on these, you remember the tags that we had, right, in the store? They were not Apple tags. They were by a different company.
Tile.
And what I didn't like about those, because I bought those, but you could not replace the battery yourself.
That's changed since then, but yes.
After about, I'll say a year and a half, you had to buy a new one from them at a reduced rate, but still.
Yep. Yeah.
So these new ones out,
the battery can be replaced in the newer ones.
Oh well, then they may be useful.
Josh, have you ever dealt with a customer that was talked about, like, hey, I lost my phone? Have you dealt with anybody that you can recall with that, or ever use this feature?
I straight up lost my phone like 2 days ago, and I had to
Oh,
find my iPhone. So that's hilarious that we're talking about this. So it's a very convenient feature, that you can just log in with your Apple ID and password, and then play the sound. And I'm like looking all through my room to find it, and I finally found it. So it's shout out to Find My iPhone. If I could think of a time a customer used it,
no.
I'm pretty sure it's happened 1,000 times, but for some reason I just can't think of one that pops off the top.
Well,
of my
it's
head.
funny. I would always have people go to a computer, say, "Hey, go to iCloud.com, log in," and then they can't figure out their password, and then they ask me to try to fix it. I'm like, "Dude, you should know your password."
Yeah.
Apple doesn't have it, and I can't stress enough. Apple does not have your Apple ID password, and we cannot change it.
No.
Hey, Josh, I'm sure you've run into that at the Genius
every
Bar.
day, dude.
Too many times.
Too many times.
Yeah.
Too many times.
It's impossible to tell you how many times. Like I could count 18,000 times I got that question. That's a big number,
you guys
but
hear the rain at all?
yeah, yes we do.
You can hear the rain, right?
Yeah, Josh.
All right, I'm gonna turn off my mic.
No, turn on. No, you can turn your mic on. That's okay.
Okay.
Not worry about it. I mean, we're getting close to the end
It's a
anyway.
storm. It's actually beautiful. It's like a purple sky. And it's
Good. By the way, we had a lot of storms here in New Jersey on the day we were filming this, of course. So everybody's power went out, except mine, because, I'm lucky. I'm Will. Everything, when there's a will, there's a way. That's all. That always happens. So as we wind down the podcast today, to end off things, Josh, I gotta tell you, you felt you left Apple. What year did you leave Apple?
2018.
And I know what would you say the overall experience was working for Apple?
It's cool. They're since they're one of the biggest companies, I feel like they're always staying up to date. It's just refreshing to work for them. It's a cool environment. You get to do cool stuff, and they feed you. So I'm not going to badmouth them, but I just feel like the people that they select to lead is what deters a lot of people, and that's what ended up deterring me. So I just feel like that's why I cracked up at that statement that what was that lady who said we're for the black community and all that. I was just like, that is a little bullshit, because the racist experiences that I have experienced even from like the management level is kind of crazy. So there was a lot of good and a lot of bad. So I don't know. My experience is it is what it is.
Yeah. Well, it is. I was not very. I wouldn't say I was vocal about who I like when I voted for somebody. I know a lot of people and Quaker Brits were not happy with me with my decisions or my political beliefs and stuff like that. I know that because I heard it. So it was no surprise. So sometimes I actually felt uncomfortable around you guys, but that's when we're just talking about it. Once you get out of that and wait, what do
you mean you guys?
Yeah, great.
Other geniuses.
Oh, okay.
I'm talking like, because we would have these conversations in the room. We wouldn't really do this because the good thing about the Genius Room, you could talk about whatever you want in there and it'd be fine. So yeah, we get a little political in there. You have me, you have Zuber on one side. You might have Josh, and you might have love Zoobs. You might have Josh, and you might have other and like Jordan on another side or another opinion, and but
Maria,
at the end of the day,
shout out to Maria.
Oh, well.
Shout out to my girl Maria.
Yeah, she loves me. And the bottom line is, at the end of the day, we could all go bowling and go to a bar and hang out with each other. And that's the good thing about the family. Like, I don't have that anymore. Like, where I worked out, I don't have that. And I miss that camaraderie. Going to New York and working, I'm coming all the way home to Central Jersey. I don't have time to hang out with everybody. I got a 12-hour day, and 4 hours is just driving. Or taking transportation. No, I take transportation. Dude. No way.
I was about to say,
Yeah, but even so, it takes the bus. That's got to be,
It's still a 2-hour ride. Yeah, it's a 2-hour ride. It's 2 hours both ways with walking, everything. So but the bottom line is that I don't get to have that in camaraderie. I think we all miss that. Like I would love for just like I wish we had like almost like an Apple reunion, and someone would organize that and do that. That'd be fun.
Apple Union.
Apple Union. So Josh, just to wind things down, we want to thank you for also coming on today. We appreciate you hanging out with us, talking about a very sensitive subject. But what's your final thing you want to leave off with today regarding everything that's gone on, and any last minute things you want to say about it?
Final thoughts. I hope peace is in the near future.
Mm-hmm.
I'm optimistic of what's going on, even though it's kind of scary right now, because there's going to be some change that happens. So I'm definitely looking forward to this new world that we're going to live in. Everyone stay safe out.
Oh, I think we lost.
We lost something.
Man, he had a positive message and the internet cut him off. So
yeah, it must be.
Well, while we wait for him to come back on, Frank, what do you have? What message would you like to say about everything?
I would like to say, please stay peaceful, keep your head, keep cool, open dialogue, and let's move forward together on this. I don't want to see. I don't want to see things burning down. I want to see people sit down, have a glass of water or whatever, and open dialogue, and try to resolve this thing.
I think it's going to take a while for us to get over this. I think that, hate to say it, and Will Smith, I think, said the best thing. It's not that racism was calming down. It's just that more people have cameras now and can document it. And that's the truth. I thought that was a very positive message. I thought that was the right message. That, hey, it still happens. It's happened, but it just happened that there was a camera following it. It recorded everything. There's no question about what happened. And, I wish there was something we could do. I'm going to try. And I wish there was just a better way to do this. But unfortunately, it's got to this point, and now it's like every neighborhood in the world is basically a danger for people who are just not.
I don't know how good my connection is now, but we'll try to wrap this up.
All right, so I'm gonna edit this together. So right. John, we just want to close off this entire episode with one last word, and we just want to hear what you have to say regarding everything that's happened over the last 2 weeks.
No doubt. As I said, I've had a heavy heart with everything that's going on in in the world with COVID and with the riots and injustice that is just plaguing Black people right now. I'm sorry, there's just like no other way to put it. As I said, I think there's hope, because everything has to kind of crumble before something new grows. So I'm optimistic about this new world that we are going to live in. It's going to be pretty progressive. But to the people out there, just be safe, be smart, and hopefully, there are brighter days.
Mm-hmm.
Agreed.
All right, guys. Well, we want to thank you very much for joining us for this very special episode of the Think Different podcast. We are former Apple people that used to work there that now want to get together. And hopefully for the episode 50, which is only a month away, my goal is to get as many former Apple employees on one Skype call or one FaceTime call, and we just talk about talk about things. I think that'd be a fun episode to do. I'm hoping Josh will be around for that. If you're down. So, all right, he gave me a thumbs up. And he's drinking his Voss water. Okay, so there you go. All right. Yeah. All right, guys, we want to thank you very much for joining us for the Think Different podcast. Everyone be safe out there, and we hope you enjoyed this special.
George Floyd.
And this was dedicated to not only George Floyd, but hopefully for peace for everybody in the entire world.
Yes, agreed.